So I've got this skeleton made, which is going to be the basis, because really when the whole thing is built up, it'll be heavy. So it was important that it has a strong, stable base. These are the original pieces. I took a cast from this little doll here with silicone rubber, and I painted the silicone onto her legs like that. And then when I had that, I made her legs out of wax. I did the same thing with the chanterelle mushroom. So this is wax, but if you can imagine that this was the mushroom, I painted silicone rubber on with a catalyst. And when it had dried, I peeled it off the mushroom, and this is my mould. So it's very, very beautiful. Huge amount of detail. Really, really beautiful detail in that mould. And then into this I poured my molten wax, and this is my result. And then with my wax mushroom and my wax doll's legs, I worked to put those together to make the original sculpture. So that is where the original process started. So it's really very exciting to have the challenge to make this in liquorice, and it'll be a different process because I won't be casting it, I'll be building it up. And that means that depending on how much liquorice I get, we can build this skirt out as long as we want. We can build it across the room, but we'll start with this core form, which was this sculpture, which will be about this size. That'll be the basic shape. And then depending on how much money we get in, how much liquorice we get in, I can build out this skirt, and goodness knows I could put in whatever details into this skirt. It could be quite amazing. Could bring in other little sculptures out of here. What I did was I built up with newspapers and fabric and chicken wire. I built up to fill in and fill out the legs. I was in Malmö yesterday with Lars from Scan Candy, and because I wanted to look at all the different types of licorice. I haven't worked with licorice before, so I thought, how am I going to manage this? And I don't know, do I need hard or soft, or what do I need? So anyway, it's a sweet factory. It's like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. It was cool. And so he showed me the production line and everything, and so what I'm working with here now, what I took with me, this is raw dough, this is raw licorice that hasn't been baked. And what I have here is licorice that's been baked. It was coming out on the conveyor belt in a string like this, but it hadn't had time to dry. So this is baked, but it's not dried, so it's still really nice to work with. This, so I thought actually I would work with this, but instead he gave me a box of this unbaked dough, and I think this is the way I'm going, because yeah, I don't know. I'll have to try with this as well. If I try with this now, it's nice to work with this stuff actually. If I try to put some here. It's quite unwieldy, this stuff. Wouldn't be my favourite material now. You see, that's not really sticking in the same way that this is. You see, that's hard, it's just coming away. It's a nice dough, this one. But I think I'll probably continue to work with this. It needs to be a good contrast to the base. If you look here, like this is really smooth and almost like plastic because it's cast from plastic, and then this is really lovely textures here. I mean, these are quite beautiful, but I'd like a thinner layer as well. And these will be really lovely because they could come way out. The last time we were talking, I had the raw dough, but here I've started working with these sweets. And what I'm doing is I'm melting them in a bowl with water, so it becomes like this big sticky mess. And basically, so I haven't come very far. I've only got, I've got the piece covered now, but I'm not at all happy with the shape of it. So I rubbed this on like this. I need to build this up a lot here, but I can't, you see, I can't work on the arse like this at this angle because everything falls off. So I have to put it flat. You see that all falls off there. So I need to have her lying down in order to work on that. So I need to, when I put this sweets on like this, then I run the gun for a while, and then I need to leave that for maybe 2 hours before it sets, before I can move it and work on a different part. So it's a very, very long, slow process. And I'll have to melt those into place. And then I have other strings coming to... So that this will kind of mimic the chanterelle skirt of the original figure. Because I'm not really interested in just doing a replica of an old sculpture. That's a bit boring, you know. But it'd be nice to do something different with this, and to extend the skirt, and to be creative with it. Obviously, when you work in a different material, it is a different piece anyway. The bottom has fallen off lots of times. I used this mixture here, which was too wet. It was a good discovery when I discovered that if I put water when it was melting, that it would melt better. But then I put in too much and left it too long on Saturday. And but anyway, then she's got a fine bottom now, it's fine, it's staying. I worked on this flat. Because I always have to work with the surface, you know, with the gravitational pull, so that it'll sit. So I had her flat, working on the bottom, and then all the weight was on the feet. So when I picked it up yesterday morning, the feet stayed on the table, they got stuck. So they were really broken. So I started the feet again. But they're fine now. I'm happy with the feet. They're clumpy feet, but it is a doll shape, so it's not meant to be like a real human being. It's quite a childish shape then. So what I've done is I've built up these thicker strings. So if we take one here. So I'm taking the strings. Now this again is, I have the gravity pulling this away. So I need to pin them with little pins. And that just needs to sit long enough until it's dry. There was another one there. I think this one is not needed anymore. And then
And then you got the new thinner strings today?
Yeah, I got those today, so that's great. So first I put on this here, this mixture, and then I'll use the hot air gun to dry it in place. And then I take these are lovely, look at them.
Yeah.
And these, I will then take this sticky mixture, run it along here, and then I'll lay that on top. And then I actually have to, this takes quite a while. Here's one I've done. Now this is just too thin to even pin, so I'm just going to hook that up there. And then I'll... Okay, now I'm going to burn my fingers again. See, it's starting to bubble there. A little bit of bubbling is okay, but you don't want it really to burn, because this shiny surface is lovely. So what I'm planning to do, you can see there's a lot of different textures going on here. So because of the nature, the shape of this, the strands broaden out and there's space in between. And that's the way it is because of this form. They don't stay tight. So I'm planning to bring in some more of these thin ones. But also I will then, my plan is to coat everything with this mixture. So it kind of binds it all together visually. So it doesn't, it gives it a kind of an a wholeness, rather than this being, oh well, here are the strings and here are the sweets. And I've melted it into place very carefully. And then I've gone away to a different part and I've worked, and then I've come back when that's been cooled down. I come back and I melt it again. So each sweet has been melted like maybe 3 times or something into place. And then I coat it with more kind of syrupy stuff, and I dry it with this so that it becomes really solid. I need to go over all of this skirt to smooth out with my gun like this. I need to smooth all these bits together. I go over them a few times, and to make it solid. I need to get water. Yeah, I'd love to. I think it'd be good fun. Like you could bring the skirt way. You could make all kind of a whole village or something. You could, because these can keep going. So I could build them. I could either bring it down to another level, down to the floor, and then build it out, or I could build it out here, or I could bring it up. Yeah, I could do anything really. But I'd need lots of money to do that and lots of licorice.
Yeah, and artistic freedom.
Yes.
This is the common question we had today at Gallery Doer. The mold, the sun, will it last?
Yeah, it doesn't go mouldy. The things with that much sugar in it doesn't go mouldy, and not if it's dry. You know, if it was wet and sugary, or dry and not sugary. Either salt or sugar makes it not. I melt it down with my hot knife, a hot gun. Yeah, and melt them, and then I put water on while it's happening so that it doesn't burn. Because if I just use the hot gun, it'll burn. It bubbles up.
So what would happen with this afterwards?
We're going to exhibit in the Clarion Shine Hotel.
No,
This is locked up from the gallery to wear. Because I've been working for a month on it, and I'm just happy to see the development of it now today. And
I have an answer for you. I've been working with liquorice for 25 years. You're never finished.
And who are you who's telling this?
I'm from Johan Bühler of Licorice in Denmark, enjoying your art. It's a different kind of art. We are playing with flavors and but also appeal definitely. But this is grand. This is the top. This is unique.
And we have to actually build another exhibition tonight after this in Clarion Design. We're going down there in the big glass hotel.
So you are doing like the Roman soldiers 2,000 years ago, going on licorice sticks. They could walk for weeks just having a licorice stick.